Hello and welcome to another There's Only Trash Here podcast, episode 50. Today is the 13th of April 2014. So we made it to 50 episodes. You out there, you're like, you can't do 50, you're stupid and misinformed and you don't upload regularly and you're just not very intelligent and you're probably ugly as well. But despite all those facts, we did it anyway.
Who are you listening to? That's very mean.
It's just my mum just being helpful.
Go away, Mum.
Get out of here. I don't need this. We're a big YouTube star.
Woo, 50. That's What was our last sort of special episode?
The last
was it
special.
Was it the Trashies?
Yeah, technically. But we already reflected on the podcast because it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago where it was a year of podcasting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't really do anything. Like, we did talk about doing a montage, but then I was like, I'm not going to do that because that's a lot of work and editing. And as I already mentioned, we're lazy. I think that was in that list. I'm pretty sure I said lazy. If not, I can't be bothered to go back and change it. So I won't be doing that because editing podcast audio, there's hours and hours and hours to go through, and it's just not worth it.
64.
60? No.
Also, there was no we in that. This was you. You would do that.
Well, I'm sure you would have helped. Hand to hand. We would have split 25 each. That sounds fair.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a good thing we're not doing that, though.
Yeah. Again, too lazy. There's no point.
No one likes clip shows on TV shows. It's basically the same thing. Let's go with some fresh material and all the really cool, important news that's come out this week.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking we would do instead. Just talk about news in video games and films. Mix it up. Do something fresh.
Good idea. Yeah.
And barely even talk about the Wii U, The Simpsons, or Nazis. Maybe a smidge.
You can avoid it, but it will happen.
Okay, well, before we get into gaming news, I want to... 2 things. The first one, we have forgot to mention it like the other weeks, but we do have an email address. So just to throw it out there again, because I forgot to the last few weeks, it's onlytrashherepodcast@gmail.com. So it has been in the description, but because we haven't had any emails, I've forgotten to mention it, but there it is, onlytrashherepodcast@gmail.com.
It's probably a smarter idea to put it at the beginning as well.
Yeah, I always forgot, and then it's just, as you're rambling about Uncharted and how bad it is, I'm like, oh, there's an email!
Yeah,
and that's how
Michael Caine or something.
Yeah, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman.
It's like we're fully broken. Anyone who's watching, their spirit is just gone by that point, so it's a bit useless to put it there.
Yeah, they're just like, we should have got at least a couple of suicide notes, though. I feel like.
After your in-depth analysis about Michael Caine and biscuits, I have decided I no longer want to live on this planet.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And then the second thing is I want to give a shout out to Cal's Crazy because, as you may or may not know, he's doing a series called Murio Kart because he's a cow, so Murio. It's a bit of fun. And he's done it where he's taking on people like one-on-one online because you can do that now. It's the future. It's wonderful. So I recorded my episode last night or Saturday night to you people, and it was a lot of fun. So I want to give a shout out to him, and he told me that the episode we recorded will be out next Saturday. So on next Saturday at, I think, 1 o'clock his time, so I think it's 6 o'clock our time, our episode will go up. And it was a lot of fun, it was really cool, it was incredibly close, and one of us won, so definitely look out for that next Saturday on Cal's Crazy channel, because it was a lot of fun to do.
Did you lose?
I can't say. Maybe I lost, maybe I didn't. I don't want to give it away.
Fair enough.
Otherwise people wouldn't watch, maybe. I don't know.
You can tell me after.
Yeah, totally. Why not?
Can you at least say the racetrack?
Well, there was 5 races.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I could, but no one's interested, sadly.
Yeah, alright then. Look out for that then.
Okay, gaming news. Now, we're going to start off on a hot topic this week, and it's something you don't care about, Joe.
Oh, great.
And that's Super Smash Bros. Because I feel like Nintendo was gearing up towards a new Nintendo Direct, but then they were like, we don't quite have enough for one full one, and we don't have any new game announcements, so we're just not going to do one again, because it would just be the same as the last one. Because we got this Super Smash Bros. Direct, but then also they went around all the press and gave them copies of, or the press build of Mario Kart 7. And then we got a second Nintendo Direct introducing a new game called like some Animal Crossing game. And then we also got some other information that got released that I can't quite remember, a small bit. So it seems like they were going to do one, but then they were like, hey, we'll just do it separately and have one dedicated to Super Smash Bros. Because we can't announce anything, and that's our biggest game right now. So, the Super Smash Bros. Direct, the key pieces of information, we're not going to cover every single detail just because I'm not big into fighting games, Joe doesn't care, so it'd be a bit silly. The four main bits of information we got is that the 3DS version of the game is coming in the summer, then the Wii U version is coming in the winter. We got that for the online, there's going to be two different modes, for fun and for glory. For fun is going to be just a party experience where you just jump in, there's items, you can play any stage, and you know, what you would expect. And then for glory, you only play on Final Destination, which is just a completely flat stage with no items or no stage hazards, it's just completely flat. And then you get ranked on your wins and losses in that mode, so it's more for fighting game people. The third one is that transformations have been completely removed, so instead of having Zelda turn into Sheik, it's just Zelda and Sheik are two different characters. And then the fourth and final one is that Charizard is going to be its own character, and then we got Greninja is going to be a new character, which I think Greninja is actually a Pokemon you like, I want to say, because didn't you pick Froakie in Pokemon X and Y?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever get a Greninja?
What the hell is that?
It's the final evolution of Froakie.
Oh no, I think I got the second one.
Oh.
He's not in his final form yet.
Damn, what about Charizard? You know all about the dragon guy, right?
Chara what now?
Charizard.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the first bit is 3DS Summer, Wii U Winter, which, from this, it just tells me that Nintendo have something big for the 3DS in the upcoming winter that they haven't announced yet. Like, maybe Majora's Mask remake, something like that. You know, this tells me that they do have something. But for the Wii U, they don't have any surprises to announce that are going to come out this year. So that's why I think that they did it like that. I'm not too sure why they would separate the two, apart from the reason I just described. It would seem to make more sense to have them both out at the same time, because I know they're different, but are people really going to buy both copies of the games? Outside of the traditional Nintendo people, there's a lot of Nintendo people who are always going to buy the two copies of the game. But I don't know if people will buy it in the summer on the 3DS and then buy it in the winter on the Wii U. Although I guess it does make sense though, because the least powerful version and the least impressive version is the 3DS one. So if you're really excited about the game, you buy that one, enjoy it, but then the winter comes and the Wii U one comes out, it's like, oh yeah, HD and different stages and better online probably. So that's pretty cool. But even though it's coming out in the summer in 3DS and the winter for the Wii U, I think I'm just going to wait for the Wii U version, because I don't know how well a fighting game can work on a 3DS. Like, I know there was Street Fighter 4, and I know Super Smash Bros. Is a party game, but I don't want to spend like 30 quid on a game that I'm just going to have to buy a better version of later on. So for me, I'm going to be skipping out on the summer 3DS release and just wait for the holiday season Wii U one.
I'm going to wait for the winter as well.
Are you?
And I'm going to wait longer as well.
Oh.
And longer. And a bit longer than that, probably.
I mean, you have a 3DS, so you could potentially pick this game up.
I could do. I would have thought they would have put the Wii U on first.
Well, that's why I was thinking that they don't have any more Wii U games to announce that would come out this year because of HD development having more to it. But with the 3DS, they probably do have one. So it's like, we need a game for the summer for the 3DS, put out Smash Brothers, and we got another couple of games we can release for the holiday season.
Do you think that's going to hurt Wii U sales?
No, because the Wii U version is ultimately better, and we're getting Mario Kart 8 on May 30th. So Mario Kart 8 should be able to ride out the Wii U throughout the summer, and then it's like, oh, hey, we can have Super Smash Bros. Although I guess, I know what you're saying with people just buying it on the 3DS anyway, but I think if you really enjoy the game, you probably will be willing to go and get a Wii U, especially because this is going to be the third holiday season for the Wii U. So there's been 3 holiday seasons worth of games to come out. So it's not just, hey, do I get the Wii U for just Smash Brothers? It's like, hey, I want a better version of Smash Brothers, but I also got all the other games as well. So I think that is what likely will happen. Although, of course, there will always be some people who just buy the 3DS version and not spend their 200, 250 quid on a Wii U as well.
Well, there's our Wii U quota.
Yeah, that's done.
Out of the way, check that off the list.
Nailed it.
I don't have anything else to say about it, really. Are there any cool characters?
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Okay, good.
Don't want to have to go over all of them. Like, we haven't really talked Smash Brothers that much, and the main reason is because how much can you really say? It's like, hey, they put in Little Mac. That's cool. Mega Man's a great addition. The graphics are nice. I don't think there's that much you can really say unless you're all in with the game and the fighting community for that game. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, it looks great and the stages are good. So that's why we haven't really talked about it that much. But no, go on.
Is it a game, or is it a series, I should say, that has a sort of real strategic sort of tactic kind of following behind it? Do you think there are people that really are quite fascinated with that sort of side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because do you know what Evo is?
Yeah.
Well, Super Smash Bros. Melee is at Evo.
Oh, right, yeah. I was wondering if it would be one of those sort of esport games.
So I can't remember all of them. You got, I think, Injustice, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter 4, something else. I don't know about the community that much. And then you got Super Smash Bros. So there's definitely, like, a lot of people love that game. And Melee came out in 2002, so the fact that people are still playing it, I would say, yeah, there's definitely that base as well. There's also the fan base who are just play it as a party game like it's meant to be played, but there's also definitely those people who are like all in with all the different dynamics of the game.
Oh, it's good that it's got such a spectrum, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's one of the points of this one, which, well, something of note about this game is that they seem to be trying to cater to those people more. Like with Brawl, the guy who made it saw what people did with Melee and how much they got into it in that fighting game way, and didn't like it, because the whole point of Super Smash Bros. From his perspective was, I wanted to make a fighting game that anyone can jump in and play and enjoy. A bit like how Mario Kart, anyone can jump in and play it and enjoy. He wanted to do that for fighting games. And then for Melee, people seem to, break it down a bit more, like, play it like an extreme kind of fighting game. So in Brawl, that's why it's slower, and you got stuff like tripping and the way the items work and things like that. But for this one, he seems to be going back the other way. It's like we got the online, you got for fun and for glory. And for glory is exactly what somebody who's really into the fighting game scene would want. It's just having Final Destination, so no stage hazards or anything like that. There's no items in the way. It's just you and another player going like one-on-one. Like, it's really stripping it down to what a traditional fighting game is like. So I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know how I'm going to fare playing this game, seeming how he's going back in that direction, but I think that's really cool that he's both offering the for fun option for people who just play it as a party game, but also that he does recognise the fighting community and he's catering towards them for this new edition.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, because you can have both. It's quite simple.
Yeah, So, is that like when you're online? It's just two completely separate sections of the game.
Yeah, you just hit the online, and they showed it in the direct. You just hit the online, and then you have two options for fun, for glory, and it just takes you to do two different sorts of online play.
Nice and simple.
Yeah,
I like that.
No mess.
No mess.
Yeah. That's why Nintendo didn't do online for a while, because it used to be horrible trying to get online. I think even with Halo 2, which was like the pioneer of console online, it was still like a hassle. You still had to get like a LAN adapter and things like that. So, and then after, Nintendo, they went against online, I think, because they didn't want a broken experience or an experience that could be messed up. It's why they repelled or didn't have CDs back in the day and chose the N64, because they didn't want loading screens. They wanted to offer a specific experience, and loading screens got in the way. Then I think with online, with internet connections being what they were and what Microsoft and everyone was doing with the online, it wasn't simple. You had to like connection errors and just NAT types and things like that. So now that Nintendo are all in with the online stuff, they have kept it nice and streamlined, which means you lose some of the benefits of, some of the like party chat and being able to customize your online experience. But then it's just, hey, I'm just going to jump into a game, and there we go, I'm playing online. That was easy.
Yeah, there's less room for error. I suppose it's restricted, but in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, on the Wii it wasn't, because you had friend codes and the servers were terrible for Brawl. But it does seem like with this new one, they have figured it out a bit more. And Mario Kart 7 has a great online, and they did a great job with that. So I'm hoping that trend will continue with Super Smash Bros.
It's not like when my friends and I were playing Mario Kart Wii and had to text each other.
Oh.
To communicate, because it was that bad.
Wouldn't you at that point call each other? Could you do a group call? I've never thought to do it.
I can't remember when it was, to be honest. We were probably dumb and didn't know how to use it.
Because I know that's what people just use Skype when it came to the Wii. Although not that many people use the online for that sort of competitive play.
Oh yeah, that was before Skype for us. Yeah.
Damn it.
Unfortunately.
I never had Mario Kart Wii, so I never had to deal with any of that. And I didn't have Super Smash Bros. Brawl until recently, so I actually never dealt with the Wii online, because there was no games that I had that was online.
I dealt with it once, and that was it.
Once was enough.
Once was enough, yeah. I was done.
But no, so while we're on the topic of the 3DS, so you have one, right?
Yeah.
Are there any games on the horizon that that have caught your eye at all?
No.
Damn it.
Not really, no.
Oh, well, you gotta ask. You gotta ask sometimes.
I haven't really been looking, to be honest. So, maybe that's why.
But I mean, what about like a potential sequel to a game series you like that would probably come to the 3DS?
I quite like that. One of the games I had for my regular DS was, in fact, that's probably already a game out there, but I like the WarioWare game, because it's just like random stuff. That's quite fun to pick up and play. But there's probably already one out there now, isn't there?
There was one on the Wii U that wasn't meant to be very good. Game of Mario.
One. Yeah.
3DS one. No, I don't think so.
Oh. Maybe that. I like one of those. They're really just random, and I like it.
Yeah, I thought the DS one was really good as well. It's the only one I really played, but I don't know. Why does that game format work?
I don't know. It shouldn't really, should it? Because it's the same things over and over again, but I don't know. It's got to get that high score. Yeah,
there's something really addictive about it. You've got to give it to the crazy person who was like, hey, let's just have like 10 quick, like 5-10 second mini games. Just throw it at the player, and then they'll just do that over and over again. It'll be great. And then it was, and it's like, well, this guy is insane, but he knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's doing. I loved all the little extras as well. Like I think it's like a little toy room or something, like where you could speak into the microphone and a parrot would say it in a high pitched tone. I always messed around with that. Such a little kid.
And then you could had to spin the record to make it play on the touchscreen.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then that thing where you test like how much you can breathe with the little ball and on the tube, and you have to blow it up to the top. Yeah, weird stuff like that.
I think
What
that
weird
was
game.
like one of the only games that really showed off the DS features like well, to the point where you just wanted to try out like what to do, like stuff with the mic and stuff with the touchscreen. I mean, you had games that integrated them over like an experience well, but then WarioWare, you just weren't really doing anything apart from just blowing into a mic or just rubbing the screen in a weird way.
Exactly, yeah. I liked them. I liked the little one where you drew the line and the little man would follow it, and you got to dodge the mines.
Yeah.
That was my favourite because you could actually make him go in a really weird way by drawing the line. There you go.
Well, it's funny that
WarioWare.
WarioWare came up because this week on the eShop they're re-releasing the GBA one on the Wii U.
How does that work on that then?
Well, on the GBA?
Yeah,
Well, that was the original one. That's where
But
that's where it started.
but how could they go from what they had on the DS? Like, what did they do on the Game Boy Advance?
It was just
button.
Yeah, just button stuff.
Oh,
So you
it
had
seems a bit like how could that work as well? Because there's only so many button combinations, surely.
well, I guess they had. I don't know. I guess they just had different mini games or micro games.
Yeah,
I mean, you
Yeah, I
could
guess
do
so.
it, but I don't know. People, that game got really good reviews at the time.
weird.
Yeah, well, it's a weird game. So
It's very weird. Yeah.
okay, well, that's all we have to say about Super Smash Bros. Because, like I said, there's not that much you can talk about until it comes out. So let's move on to The Last of Us. It was a
Again.
yeah, one more time.
Okay.
It was announced officially that The Last of Us will come to PS4 in the form of The Last of Us Remastered. I believe it's meant to be upgraded graphics, 1080p, all the DLC included, and it comes out this summer. Am I right in saying that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Definitely the summer.
Let's say the summer.
Yeah, why not? So it's coming out this summer, definitely. And I mean, we talked about this before, and I remember Proto Mario was like, yeah, there's no way they would actually do that, so it must be coming to PlayStation now. And then it turns out he was incorrect, and it is coming to PS4. And I think it does make sense. Whether as a consumer I actually want to buy it or have any interest in it is completely different. But as far as Sony goes, it does make sense because at the beginning of any generation we have these ports where they just port it over and say, hey, look how much better it is on this console. And if you're going to do any game from the PlayStation 3, The Last of Us is a pretty solid choice because of, how well received it was. It's such a great game. But like I said, as a consumer, they released a trailer, or a little teaser trailer, which said, hey, we got all these awards, and then showed off some footage. It didn't look better.
No, I can imagine it wouldn't.
Like, it didn't look bad or anything like that, but when you have a teaser trailer like that ends with some footage from the PlayStation 4 version to wow you, you want to be wowed. You want to be like, hey, whoa, look, they really redid the models, everything looks really smooth and great, and wow, this is something I want to experience. But when I watched it, it was just like, yeah, that's The Last of Us, as I pretty much remember it. Not going to go out and buy a PS4 and spend 40 quid on something that's essentially the same.
It is, if you think about it, it's like the smallest jump they could make. It's like pushing the PS3 and its kind of processing power to the very limit, and then it's jumping a tiny little bit onto the PS4. So, yeah, I can see how it wouldn't look any better. But the one thing I think is good about this is that when The Last of Us came out, there was quite a few people who were planning to get a PS4, and they were like, oh, I don't want to get a PS3 just for The Last of Us, because that's all they wanted to play. So I suppose now that they have the PS4, they have their chance to play it now.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good. Yeah,
But
it's
that's
good.
about it, really. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's the only real benefit. I also thought it's good because now people can play the multiplayer on the PS4 servers, but then that's only good as it set Sony up to shut down the PS3 ones. So they'll probably shut down the PS3 ones earlier than they would, because if you're really into the multiplayer, you'll probably buy it on PS4 instead and then play it on those servers. So I guess that's a plus. You don't get as screwed over by Sony when they shut down servers.
What is? I've never actually played the multiplayer in the end.
I think it's just a third-person shooter, just using those mechanics.
Oh,
I've heard good things about it.
I remember there was some sort of faction or something like that. Like you made groups. I can't remember.
It is meant to be like really good,
Yeah,
but of course
yeah.
that's if you like third-person shooters online.
Oh yeah, when I finished that game, I was just like, I was done with it. I was like, I don't want to touch this game anymore.
Yeah,
I didn't have any urge at all to play the multiplayer, even though the guy in the game shop like squeezed an extra £2 out of me at the till by saying, "Oh, £2, you can get this thing in the multiplayer." I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever," just to shut him up. But as soon as I finished that storyline, the credits started rolling. I was like, "Yeah, okay then, I turn it off."
yeah. That's why
Never
the whole
played it since.
that's why Left Behind, that DLC, was a bit odd, because most people were like that, me included, where I sold it because I was done. It's like, hey, that was fantastic. I'm going to go do something else now.
I was going to get that DLC. I remember saying so, but then I heard some people who had played it, and they said it was quite short and not particularly good.
Well, apparently, I think it's meant to be around 2 hours, maybe a bit less, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that length for a DLC. But
I can't remember how much it was.
yeah, I didn't even check. But I have watched it. I did watch it on YouTube, and it doesn't seem worth it at all.
Does it not?
No, there's nothing really interesting that happens. It takes place during the time where Ellie is looking after Joel, and then they also have flashbacks to Ellie before. But it's just like, if you building, it's so weird to have. They're trying to do character development in a flashback, which always seems like a completely broken idea, because you have to do it like perfectly. Because if you do it perfectly, then you have the character flashback, and it gives a whole new edge to everything that the character has done to that point. And then you think of it as like, oh wow, that's why they did that, and that makes sense why they're like this. But if you don't get it just right, then it just seems like a pointless waste of time. And that you could go back and be like, hey, why didn't Ellie ever mention this or do anything? You know, it seems weird that what happens in that, it's not reflected in Ellie's character during the game, and I think that's kind of a bit of a flaw to it, and makes it even more of a waste of time.
Yeah, that's a shame. Shame it was like that. It's almost like you can tell when someone plans something in advance so that it would make sense. Like, I don't know, Futurama, for example. They did a few episodes where, you know, they'd obviously planned for something to happen, and they told you later on, like Nibbler's shadow or whatever. And I love stuff like that, where it's like, oh, and that's why that was there, and you find out later on. If they had had that, like something in the game that didn't quite make sense, and there was stuff in The Last of Us that didn't make sense, if they'd explained those, it would have been great. But if you're saying that, then that sounds a bit sucky.
Well, this is apparently based off a book or a comic or something like that the main guy wrote and released at like the same time. So he did seem to have some sort of plan where all this connected in, but then there's just inconsistencies with not like dialogue or anything, just events. Like, you know how Ellie's like, Jesus, Joel, what are you doing with all this murder? It's horrible. Well, in this DLC that takes place beforehand, she kills a lot of people, or a lot of creatures, and it's just like, well, that kind of destroys the whole she's like an innocent young girl thing that she kind of portrays at the beginning of the game. And it's just like, well, you just kind of ruined that a little bit by having this DLC.
Yeah. You think they'd see that, though, surely?
Yeah, but I think it was a case of they had this story they wanted to tell with The Last of Us, but now they have this separate, smaller story with these characters, and they didn't connect it, and they just instead went for making sure that story in the prequel was solid rather than consistent. Or have the emotional impact, I guess.
Yeah.
Which it didn't really.
Oh, I didn't watch anything, so I still don't know it. So I don't know. Maybe someday if it gets any cheaper or whatever. But nah.
No. So yeah, so I don't think anyone is going to be convinced to buy a PS4 because of this. Because either you were an Xbox guy who went to PlayStation and you were like, hey, now I have a PS4. Or you were a PlayStation 3 guy, so already brought it because it's The Last of Us. Well, you must have brought it. So I guess there might be people who have an Xbox One or are a 360 person who can't decide about whether to go to the Xbox One or the PS4. They might be swayed by the PS4 now, but if there's no real improvements to the game itself apart from technically better graphics, so I still don't think that's going to sway people that much. It's just going to be a nice little perk. Like, hey, that's pretty cool, I can play The Last of Us again. Or for the first time, if I so wanted to, if I chose to go PS4.
Yeah. There's like small little sections that it could work out for, I suppose. It just seems a little bit hard to see, but, see how it goes. But one thing I will say is that you say about the graphical improvement, or lack of one.
Oh!
The thing is, even with these sort of things, you could say, oh, well, it might not look better, but it might run better. But I've got to say, when I played it, and it was on an old PS3, it still ran really well.
Yeah, I had no problems. I
had no problems at all.
I think I remember hearing that the frame rate was nowhere near 60, like it was 30. But it's not that sort of game where frame rate matters. So I guess it would be nice for the people who care about that thing to see the game run in 1080p, 60 frames per second. But whether it's actually an improved experience or not, I don't think so. It'll just be more of a technical thing that you just see someone play it's more of a demo thing. We just play a demo of it. It's like, hey, that's pretty cool. It runs better on PS4, as you would expect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well done. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, well, that's it, really. Yeah.
I mean, I get it's content for the sake of content, which is fine. We don't have to buy it, and it makes sense to do this one. But I guess there must have been other games on the PS3 that were PS3 exclusive that they could have brought over. But I guess if they made...
Don't say Uncharted.
Uncharted?
No!
No, I'm trying to think of an early one, like Killzone 2. Back before they hadn't really figured out the power of the PS3, so they still kind of looked a bit weird. Something like that could have really benefited from being re-released on the PS4, but of course they're not going to do that. But that would make the most sense, because then you would see a jump, because you would go from the beginning of the PS3 to the beginning of the PS4, which is a jump. But the end of the PS3 to the beginning of the PS4, it's not really a jump.
It's more of like a little trip.
Yeah.
Not even a trip. It's like a little kind of... Tell you what it is. It's where you think there's an extra step on the stairs, and it's not. So you're like, oh.
Oh, God, no.
And that's it. That's it. It's like a tiny little kind of little wobble.
I hate that.
That's all it is, though.
It's not great. God. They will... graphics will get better. I know that's not saying much, but there will be a difference by the end of these consoles, because now it's become a case of it doesn't matter the processing power, it's just everything behind the game. The reason why games have looked better over the recent years is just because developments in game engines and stuff like face motion capture has just got a lot better, and they pour more money and resource into AAA games. So that's the reason why games have looked better. So of course, over the course of the PS4 and Xbox One, that process will happen. It's just usually at the beginning of the consoles you do get wowed by what you're seeing. It's just that hasn't happened yet. But in 5 years' time, they will look amazing, and there will definitely be a big jump. And if they re-release The Last of Us towards the end of the PS4 life cycle instead, then there will be a big difference. It's just, at the moment, who cares?
By that point, we'll be using our virtual reality.
That's
Morpheus.
right.
So, yeah.
We'll be in another world complaining about 1080p.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait.
Yeah. But no, so I can't really think of any games that deserve to be remastered over The Last of Us.
I see. I wasn't there for like the early PS3, so I have no idea what was released. To be
Well,
honest.
neither was I. But
So, we're not really the best to say about this.
Little Big Planet, that's on the way. PS4.
I actually wanted to get that the other day, but that's a really old game, and it's still, honestly, Game is just the worst store to buy games at. Too expensive, so I
How
didn't buy
much
it.
was it?
£15.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I got my copy for £5.
Yeah, I want, because that's one of those games that is supposed to be really good, but I never understood it, so I wanted to try it. But I want it cheaper than that.
Well, I think it's got online, so if you do buy it, we'll play some Little Big Planet. Have a good time.
But I don't know what online is. What the hell is the game? Actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay.
When I play it, I will find out. But
You know about Stephen Fry, though, right?
Yes, I know he does a voice.
And Sackboy.
And also there's a song in it that I used for something, or I liked
Stole.
it. What?
You stole.
I didn't know I did. Well, maybe I stole it. But when I googled it, it was all coming up for Little Big Planet and not the game that I got it from or something. I can't remember the story behind that. It uses a really good song though.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't. I have it, but I haven't played it.
Oh, why not?
Well, because when I first got my PS3, I was like, hey, I should buy all these exclusives. So I saw Little Big Planet for £5, so I just brought it and shelved it.
Okay then.
Because
yeah,
I
that's
had
a good idea.
I'm still working my way through the Ratchet and Clank games. It's just we're taking so long with All for One, and it slows right down.
It is taking a while. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could just play Q-Force now, but I'm gonna wait. I can wait.
Wait it out. You know, it'll be much more worth it.
But it's funny
Maybe.
because All for One, I think, is longer than both the next two games that I've got to beat, Q-Force and Nexus.
Oh God, why is it so long?
I don't know.
Why is it so long?
So full of content.
Did they think that people would finish it faster if it was multiplayer?
No, I think they made it as a normal Ratchet and Clank game. It just feels long because we're playing it in co-op.
I would have thought that made it feel faster though.
No, I think it feels longer just because co-op games aren't long.
Oh, I see. So it's going against the grain. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Splinter Cell Conviction, we did the co-op for that, and that
Yeah.
felt like the right length.
Yeah.
But then that is shorter than the single player, which feels short.
So it's just kind of like like you're used to one thing, and yeah, I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
and Portal 2 is the same way, where the main game is like 8 hours, but the co-op is a lot shorter. But they both feel like the correct length to be.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get us wrong. We're still enjoying it. It's a good game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
just
think,
long.
Yeah, it'll be one. It only feels long because we're let's playing it. That's it.
I don't know. I spend even longer if it was on my own.
Oh,
I probably. It's taking me too long to complete Uncharted.
you'll do it though.
Well, that's for other reasons, which we will not get into.
Why not? Come on.
I'm not moaning about it again.
Are you going to beat Uncharted 2 though?
Yes, I will. And then I will play Uncharted 3. For some reason.
Or did
Although,
you?
hang on. You tell me. I've got a friend who was saying about they really love Bioshock Infinite. They're like, you should really play Bioshock
Oh,
Infinite.
your friend's a bum.
And I was like, well, I'm playing Uncharted at the moment, so I want to wait. And then, should I play Uncharted 3 or should I play Bioshock Infinite?
I would say play Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah?
Because
Nice
you can
change of
always,
pace.
you can always get around to Uncharted 3. And if you leave Uncharted 2 thinking these games are awful, let's play
Yeah.
the next one. It's,
What am I doing with my life?
yeah, you're going to go into Uncharted 3 with negative stuff, like you're guaranteed. But if you have a
I
little
did that
break,
with Uncharted 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think if you have that little break between them, then it'll be better.
Okay then. I'll do that.
But you do know Bioshock Infinite and Uncharted 3 have both been free with PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I downloaded it.
Oh, really?
I did download it. I think I have to go buy PS Plus again though to actually play it. But that's fine.
Well, I think the way it works is that if you download it, then you can actually play. Because
Really? Oh.
Yeah, they say that, but I think you can still play it because you don't have to log in or anything like that. So you can just go offline and play it.
Ooh, I have to try that.
Yeah, I think that works because I don't think I have PlayStation Plus, but when you download a game of PlayStation Plus, it just acts as a game, like you just brought it and downloaded it. So I don't think, you can't re-download games that you've got for free off the PlayStation or the PSN store with PS Plus, but you can play ones you've already downloaded and installed.
Well, that's good then. I mean, it's not much, but still, it's nice I don't have to pay again.
Yeah.
Cool. I will definitely be playing that then.
Yeah, you should play Bioshock Infinite. Then we can talk about it. It'll be cool.
Talk or moan?
Well...
we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
bad.
remember your long rant about that.
Well, I don't think it's bad. Okay, I just think it's overrated.
The only thing it's bad, what was it, like the 8-minute long... How long was that?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just go back to the trashies if you're interested.
Yeah, there you go.
A whole chunk of that episode is me complaining about Bioshock Infinite. God. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowed to reflect. It's the 50th episode. It's all good.
Half a century.
Yeah. Although that
2 more, and then it'll be the weeks that we should have had.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then we can have another episode to celebrate then.
So, what can we do for that one, though? What have we done for this one? We need to stop.
Well, we haven't done anything for this one.
No.
So I'm thinking that for the next one.
I think that's a good idea.
We should probably stop patting ourselves on the back for technically making episodes.
Well, it's a bit of effort at least.
Some effort.
It's some effort, yes.
Well,
Good.
it is kind of in the name, self-deprecation. It's right there.
Is it?
Yeah, nope, there's only trash here podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's implying there's only trash.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
That this podcast is garbage.
You're actually saying this is trash.
Yeah, that's why I picked the name. I thought it was funny. I hope people out there picked up on that. That's the joke. It is meant to be a joke. It's not just a reference. It's very smart and clever and funny and good.
Yeah, I got to say I didn't, but...
Damn it.
And I've been on it, and I still haven't really got that.
Shoot.
I thought you just liked Pokemon.
I do, but it's that and the joke.
Oh, yeah, it works very well then. Well done. 50 episodes in, I finally understand why this is called what it is called.
Well, maybe that's what makes this episode special. I finally go into the secrets of the origins of the podcast name.
And now it's going to go downhill.
Yeah. Shame.
Oh, well.
Well, let's talk about something that you don't have much to say about, and neither do I.
Oh.
So, Borderlands is getting a new game. It's Borderlands the pre-sequel, and pretty much it's a game... It's called the pre-sequel because it's set in between Borderlands 1 and 2, where you're some guy working for Handsome Jack, who's like the main villain that people loved in Borderlands 2, and it's set on the moon.
Nice.
And it's meant to be coming out, but only current or old gen consoles. So it's just PS3, 360 and PC, and it comes out this winter. And also the last thing to know about it is that it's being made by 2K Australia with help from Gearbox. So it's pretty much a very similar situation to Batman Arkham Origins, where they created a new studio, Warner Brothers Interactive, and then had the original developers Rocksteady help out. So that's pretty much what's going on here. Although, of course, it'll be unfair to say we'll get the same result, but that's what they're doing, pretty much.
On the moon, you say?
Yeah.
I like On the Moon.
Well, it seems cool. Like, if you're going to make a new game, you got to do something different. So having it on the moon, yeah, that's pretty different. But then I saw some screenshots, and it's like, yep, that's just Borderlands. That's just Borderlands again. I know it's on the moon, but that's Borderlands. There's nothing different about it.
Let's do some moon comparisons with those screenshots. How was the moon compared to... The only moon I really like is Destroy Humans 2.
Right.
What's the moon like compared to that?
I couldn't really see anything that distinctive.
So no giant domes or anything?
There might be some. It seems like because it's like a colonized moon, so I think being on the moon is more about the anti-gravity stuff that goes on, rather than look, we're on the moon stuff. Sadly.
Okay. What about any cheese?
Very little cheese.
Very little cheese. Disappointing.
Yeah.
What about evil fridges or ovens?
Oh, yeah, evil ovens, sure.
Was it an oven?
What are you talking about?
Bothersome Comet.
Oh, I can't remember. It's been too long.
I think it was an oven.
Let's say
It was
oven.
some kind of robot. Yeah. None of that, though.
But no, so this just looks like the same. I mean, I would say it's interesting that it is coming out on the PS3 and 360, but it makes a lot of sense. It's less money to make. Everyone has a PS3 and 360. Gearbox haven't finished their next-gen Borderlands game yet, so it makes a lot of sense to keep it on the current gen. And this is the last year where you can get away with that. In 2015, you're going to look really stupid if you do that. But this year is the very last holiday season where there's enough people who aren't fussed about the next-gen consoles who will still buy PS3 and 360 games that you can get away with it. So that's the only noteworthy thing for me about this game, because I'm not a big fan of Borderlands, so to me this just looks like more of it, and I don't like it, so I'm not interested.
Is it actually going to be called the pre-sequel?
Yeah, Borderlands the pre-sequel.
That's an awful name.
It's not great.
The pre-sequel.
Pre-sequel.
Is that a term now?
No.
It feels like it's like a term that has been made up that's kind of annoying.
Well, it's not a real term, because if you think about it, the pre-sequel means the one before the sequel.
Yeah.
So the original.
The pre-sequel, but it's in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah. So the
pre-sequel.
Yeah, the pre is before Borderlands 2, and the sequel is after Borderlands 1.
Whatever. Although, whatever.
Such disdain.
I remember you suggested to me that I like Borderlands, but why?
I don't know. It just, most people do like it, but I found it to be a little repetitive, because the core gameplay, you're just kind of, you're looting in like this open world type area, and you're shooting people, but the shooting mechanics are a bit loose, but they make up for it by having the RPG system where you level up and get new abilities, and the whole looting system where you search everywhere, find money, buy guns, you can sell them off. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, then perfect. But if you want a good shooting game, if you're playing Borderlands for a good shooter that's well made and well put together like Call of Duty, then you're going to be disappointed. And that's what I wanted. So to me, this, with all the looting and the open world, it just felt like a weak MMO. But most people really like it and got really into it, so that's why I suggested it to you, just to try it out, just to see if you like it, because most people do.
If the robot's funny, I'll play it.
It's kind of funny.
Claptrap? That is...
Yeah, it's Claptrap. Right. So, ready to get back into it?
Yes.
God damn it. Okay, so yeah, Borderlands. I don't know, my problem with that game is that the first 2 hours of each one, I really enjoyed it. Like, there is some funny stuff in there. It is fun to play with friends. But then the rest of the game, you're not doing anything interesting. It's just whatever you do in those first 2 hours, that's what you're doing over and over and over again for the rest of the game. So that's what kind of put me off.
Oh, see, that's what I realised was wrong with Uncharted.
Oh.
Just going back to it briefly, okay.
Oh, always with the Uncharted with this guy.
In comparison to, say, Ratchet & Clank All for One or Jak and Daxter, which I was thinking about the other day, is that there are still new things at the end of the game, or, through the game. Uncharted, what you see at the beginning is exactly what you get at the end. So, you saying that, it's not a good sign for me. Not a good sign for me.
I don't know why that went away, though. It used to be you would have like a game, and then you would come up with interesting levels throughout the game, so everything is fresh. So, but now it's just like you come up with the game and a certain amount of gameplay, and that's what you're doing throughout. Like, I think GTA 5 was a bit like that, if I'm going to be honest, where it's like, you're going to be shooting people and driving cars. Off you go. do that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to try and defend that. I think you're right. I mean, it's different levels and stuff, but it is all the same gameplay at the end of the day. Yeah.
But yeah, that just went away for some reason. And I think it's mostly because games are shorter now, so you don't have to come up with interesting stuff to get you into it. It just has to be, you have the 5-6 hour campaign or whatever, and then you just have your one gimmick and mechanic and one or two of them, and then you just rely on that and clutch it out for the whole game, rather than surprise the player towards the end.
I suppose that kind of shows how gaming has changed overall. Like, years ago, even before my time playing video games, it used to be the case where, you know, you'd buy this game, and because it was so damn expensive, along with the console and whatever, you would play this game to its death, and you would, you know, it would have to have a lot of content in it to be good. But now it's kind of like, and I'm part of this problem where you play a bit of a game, don't get into it, you just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And it's very much like a flippant view of gaming. It's like, well, I'm done with that. Where's the next one?
Yeah, well, it used to be like games were built around that kind of idea of mixing things up. Like, you got Mega Man with the power-ups, and then you have Zelda with the different items, which did... Maybe, you know, they didn't change the gameplay in a completely different way, but it was like, you're playing Zelda, you go to a new dungeon, and now you have a completely different item that changes everything. And then you have that throughout the whole game. So every single temple throws something completely different at you in terms of what item you get. But now you don't have anything like that. Like, even with The Last of Us, which we both love, you're doing the exact same thing throughout that whole game. Like, what you do in the first 2 hours, you're doing in the last 2 hours. And that's fine, but it still kind of screams a bit lazy, where they seem to now be focusing on the environments and stuff like that, and coming up with different spins on the level design, rather than actually something interesting that mixes things up and keeps you, you know, on your toes and surprised.
Oh yeah, I mean, if The Last of Us had any different type of storyline, I think it would have sucked.
Yeah,
it was a storyline pretty much that kept that game going, really, wasn't it?
Well, I think the gameplay... I mean, that's the difference.
It was polished.
Yeah, that's
sure.
it. The gameplay was so polished, and they created this great tension with it, that was enough to last you till the end. But they were just relying on those mechanics and nothing else, which you couldn't do back then because people would get bored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much a complaint, but it does seem like with certain game genres, you absolutely have to have different stuff towards the end. Like, I know people don't make platformers anymore, but with platformers, you have to surprise. Like, you have to do interesting stuff throughout it, because all you're essentially doing is jumping, and that's about it. So if you don't do that, then you're screwed. But with first-person shooters, you now have stuff like Call of Duty that does try and do that. Not so much anymore, but they used to with the older ones. And they did try to have stuff to mix it up. Like in Modern Warfare 2, you had all the different stuff that they threw in there. Like, even towards the end, you had the EMP. So you were going through Washington that was all blacked out and there was no lights or anything. So that was cool. So even those games, like, tried to do something. But then people would discredit Modern Warfare 2 as being like, they just throw so much in there that you're just like, yawn, I'm not even on the edge of my seat anymore. But really, it was just them mixing things up, keeping things interesting the whole way, so you weren't doing the same thing. You weren't relying on the same gameplay mechanic to ride you through.
Yeah, imagine if it was just all of the shooting just the same way through. I mean, that would have been awful.
God, that would have been so boring.
Awful. Even things like, what was it called? AC-130?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, AC-130.
I'm very proud I remembered that. Don't know why. You know, you had those levels like in the burger place where you're shooting everyone. Is that right?
Yeah, you had the
things
Wolverine
like
level.
Where all little white little dots. I even like that, to be honest. That was a bit of fun.
Yeah, even if the gameplay isn't like polished in the same way The Last of Us is, there is definitely something to having that variety where it mixes things up. That is good game design and makes a lot of sense and should be that way. But now with AAA development, it's just not. It's just even indie games as well. Like most of these indie games is built off one idea, and then it's that for the whole thing. If it's a great idea, then that's not a problem. But it's still like, well, you're just using one idea and twisting it slightly throughout. Like Limbo is just, oh, it's black and white. And it's got a weird atmosphere, so just do that. And it's still a great game, but it's just... Come on, we want to be surprised a little. Just a little.
Do you think... quite a few podcasts ago, I remember us saying about how a lot of gaming is moving into that more cinematic sort of tone, where it's more focused on storytelling. Do you think that's going to, kind of wreck the chances of going back to the old ways?
Well, I think that's part of it. Because now, like, if you were watching a film and towards the end, the style of the film completely changed, you'd be like, oh, whoa, what the hell's that? So I guess with The Last of Us, if you had the style of the gameplay completely change and do something kind of different, you'll be like, whoa, what happened? So I guess you've got to keep a consistent tone for the sake of the story. When, of course, when a game didn't have a story, they could completely dictate everything on gameplay and what the player was actually doing, hence why you could have the different variety. But so I guess replacing story for variety isn't that bad. It's just weird that the other part would go, where there aren't games that mix things up, because that's gone, essentially.
Maybe someone will get it soon.
Maybe.
Someday. Be nice.
I mean, if they made a new Crash Bandicoot, that could totally do it.
Could it?
Well, yeah, that's what the Crash Bandicoots had, that sort of design, where you would jump into a level. It's like, now you're on a polar bear, jumping it up for one. Now you got a jetpack. Now you're on a motorbike. So that totally did it.
I thought you were still on about like merging the story and being able to change it.
No.
Crash Bandicoot story is not really their strong point.
Not really.
Oh, it's damn Cortex again.
Voice acting was
that
good.
Guy. Yeah, that's true.
But no, so they could do it. It's just the AAA games aren't about that anymore.
Can I go back briefly, just very quickly, because things like this bug me. I just want to go back. I'm going to. I said about Little Big Planet there being a song, right?
Right.
I had to look up the song because it was really annoying me, and none of you care. I know you don't even care, but I'm going to say it. It was. Did you used to watch, by any chance, Smart?
Yeah, I did.
Did you watch Smart?
Mm-hmm.
You did, right? Do you know? Great. This will make a lot more sense then. Do you know when they had the little gallery bit and they had the music that played over it?
The gallery bit.
Gallery, where they had like the
pictures
sent in.
Yeah, I know the one. This was sent in by Nigel.
Yeah, and had that music, that kind of really groovy music.
Yeah, wasn't that also played over the that weird little man, that animation?
Morph.
Yeah, Morph.
Yes, probably. It was that song. It's called Left Bank 2 by the Novel Tones, and for some reason I wanted to listen to that, so I googled it, and it was coming up for Little Big Planet. So I'm definitely going to play Little Big Planet now. It's got that in it.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think I had. Now that you mention it, I think I do remember hearing that song in Little Big Planet, but I guess it didn't resonate in the same way, sadly.
That's what. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
But I think everyone who watched Smart definitely must know that song.
Yeah, and it was even on the program kind of before Smart, which was it like Take Heart or Heart something? The guy Tony Hart was the guy who did it. He was the art guy, and that's where Morph comes from. Anyway, this is random. Going back to what we're talking about.
Video games not having variety anymore.
Oh yeah, they're moaning. Yep.
Yeah,
no,
of course.
discussing. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of recent examples that did that. And I guess we played All for One, which was like 2011. But aside from that...
What about... have you played it yet? Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze?
Yeah. I have it, in fact.
Would you say that does it?
Yes, not to the same extent that the older Donkey Kong Country games did, but I think that's the main difference between Returns or the retro ones and the old Rare ones on the SNES, is that Rare very clearly that's what they were going for. Each level would be this different kind of gimmick, and it's totally there in these newer ones. It's just not as, it doesn't stand out as much. It's not like, oh, this is the level where I have to deal with this mechanic. It's there, but it's not quite as much. Like,
Okay.
you do have minecart levels, and then things like that. Like, so in the older games, you would have the mechanic like, oh, this is the level where you're on the elevator, or this is the level where you have to turn on lights so you don't get eaten by horrible monsters. But in this one, it'll be like, oh, this is the level based in the savannah where I have to jump on these poles. So it's not quite a strong, unique gameplay mechanic, but it is something different that makes the level stand out, just not quite as distinct.
Well, that's good then.
Hmm.
That's good. I almost feel that, does that maybe work better? Because then it feels like a more cohesive game.
Well,
If that's what you're looking for, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the whole point in not having variety, make it more cohesive. But with this game, or with Tropical Freeze, it doesn't feel that connected anyway.
Oh, okay.
Like, I talked about 3D World, where the big problem with that game, it's not a massive problem, it's still good, is that it just feels like a collection of levels. And I would say Donkey Kong Country does have that same kind of feel, which is weird, because I don't think the original ones did have that, even though each level did do something different. For some reason that felt more connected, all the levels felt more linked, and I don't know why. I guess the subtleties of that game and the newer ones are just different.
That's odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is odd. Because I can't... watching your Let's Play, it did seem just like quite random, but maybe you have to play it.
No, yeah, I guess it was. But they were still like, oh, I'm on the snow level, so these are all snow. This snow world is all snow levels.
Mm.
Which...
Does the newer Donkey Kong games have that sort of map?
Yeah, it does.
Because I like the fact that you could see where you're going up the mountain. Maybe that helps.
Well, with Tropical Freeze, it was... Okay, well, with Returns, the original Wii one, it did, where you were going around the island up to the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tropical Freeze, you're just on different islands.
Oh, okay.
So kind
Right.
of, yeah.
Is that maybe why... Do you know that people say that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is worse?
People
Do you
say
think
it's
it needed,
better.
I
say
okay.
it's worse, but most people would say it's better.
Well, okay, but one of the things that wasn't as good was the fact that it doesn't have a proper hub.
Yeah, that was bad.
I think having a good hub, I think, helps.
Yeah, because it's so... it's central to the whole game, where you select levels from, so why wouldn't you put any effort into that? So I think that is really important, and it's the main reason I think Galaxy 1 is better. I love having that, or being on that big starship, going to the levels that way. The music that played was awesome, and it looked really nice as well. So the fact that Galaxy 2 is just a level select... I don't know if they were trying to be retro for the sake of being retro or what, but that screamed of laziness.
Mm. Yeah, I thought that when I looked at it.
Yeah. But no, there must be one, like... Okay, so there must be a first-person shooter that's a good example of that. Although I guess nowadays first-person shooters don't focus on the campaign at all, so we can't really look at those anymore.
Because
yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like the old James Bond games were totally like that.
What, just the same all the way through?
No, as in like they had different stuff.
Oh right, okay.
It's like, hey, now you're on a jetpack.
Yeah.
Now you're driving a car.
What about 007 Legends? Not so much?
Well, that does have it. It's just bad.
Oh, okay.
You do have all the variety in that game. Like that's one thing they did do a good job with. It's just that game's just bad.
The execution was not so good.
Yeah, because there is a motorbike level where you drive the motorbike from the beginning of Skyfall. It's just terrible. You have to.
I can't think of any. Yeah.
No, but there's definitely got to be some. Definitely. But for the most part, there's not.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the way they surprise you is with the story, rather than gameplay.
Like, in Call of Duty, did they? When I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I didn't give a crap about any of the characters, but like price and people,
Price and code.
is that like part of the storyline in the later ones?
Yeah, in Modern Warfare 3, that's the final one that ends off that storyline with Price.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that ending to 2, though, was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty good actually.
Yeah. That scene is why QuickTime events can be really good and shouldn't be completely dismissed.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was the only one where it's like, oh wow, I've got to pull a knife out of my chest by pressing X. Christ.
Although, didn't they do that for the third one as well?
Yeah, but they didn't go for that moment in the same way.
Yeah, yeah. I remember watching it, and it seemed a bit less epic.
Yeah.
In that way.
But that wasn't the ending. Like, the ending's different for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, yeah, because Modern Warfare 2 ended on that final, like, brawl, and then that QuickTime event. Modern Warfare 3 ends on you just don a big juggernaut suit, storm the building, and then you have like a quick fist fight, and then you hang the main guy and have a cigar.
Is that not the QuickTime? I thought that was the QuickTime bit.
I think there is a QuickTime there, but it's not quite the same.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe that's my way of saying it's not as good, because it's not, but they weren't quite going for that same dramatic moment, I don't think. They were going for more, yeah, Captain Price got the guy and can finally retire in a gulag.
Oh. Yeah.
Woo!
Gulags. Great.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for news. So, is there anything you've been playing this week, by any chance?
Have we reached game releases yet?
We can do that next.
Oh no, wait, no. I have got a gaming announcement.
Oh.
That I noticed.
Oh.
Quite a big one actually. Quite a big one.
Oh.
It was. I don't know if you heard. Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth.
Oh yeah, that got announced today or yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, and people were pretty happy about this.
Well, what the heck is it?
It is. Well, there was this game a long time ago called Alpha Centauri. I think it was called.
Never heard of it.
Which is basically Civilization but space.
Oh, cool.
And people loved that game because it took it really seriously, and yet had all these philosophical things about the future and all mankind and blah blah blah. And people have wanted a sequel to that for a long, long time. So what this Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, is like they call it like a spiritual successor sort of thing.
Okay.
And so yeah, and that came out like 90s at some point. So yeah, they've waited a long time for this.
Well, that's pretty cool, because I guess because it's weird. Civilization always ended with you going to space. It was the scientific ending you could get, or scientific victory that you could get. So it seems weird that they've waited this long, because they made 5 games and just never did space. So that's pretty awesome that they are finally going back to it and being like, hey, we're actually going to do space now, because what else can we do?
Exactly. I think they've, with each one, because I've played a few of the Civilization games. I'm absolutely rubbish at them, but I like them. And each time they've sort of just refined a bit more the sort of mechanics. And so yeah, there's only so far you can go with that. Now I think it's a good step, because I think it's cool inhabiting new worlds and things and setting up your own little space colony. I think that's a good way to go.
See, that does sound really cool, but I'm sure games like that already exist, but I can't say any I'm interested in.
There was one called Anno, I think.
Anno.
Maybe Anno? Anno 2070 or something?
No.
Oh, it was 2070. Yeah, which was basically Civilization in space, but it's like when it comes to this, people want the real deal, I suppose. They want the Sid Meier one, so they're getting it. There you go.
Whoa, we don't have to play Spore anymore to do this.
I'll spoil. But I saw that there's like a trailer for it, and I gotta say, for like this big game, right? I suppose you got to watch it, but for such a big game, the trailer seemed kind of sloppy.
Oh.
Seemed kind of sloppy. Like it's all there, like the shots you leaving the planet and space stations and stuff, all there, but kind of rough around the edges, I'd say. Maybe you have to see it yourself.
I like to think that Sid Meier edited and put together the video himself.
He's like, out of the way, I can do this, movie maker.
It's called
like,
Sid Meier's Civilization, not bloody Frank's. I'm doing it.
And yeah, great job, Sid. Well done.
Average job.
But it's one of the few games that my friends play, Civilization. So yeah, that'll be a good play if we do get it. So I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't play PC games, but that's pretty cool. I did used to play Civilization a lot back in the day. I've no interest to get back into it, but still looks good. Or sounds good, I guess.
Yeah. Now, if only they'd make a theme park world like that.
Yeah. I think theme park world is dead, I'm afraid.
Although they are making a new Roller Coaster Tycoon, aren't they?
Yes.
But I like theme park world.
Oh.
So I'm just have to sit here and wait forever because Bullfrog don't exist anymore.
No. Peter Molyneux will never come back.
No, it's gone. Gone forever, making his weird cube games. What's in the box? Or whatever it's called.
What's in the box?
Remember that? That's so weird.
I can't remember it, but I know the Simpsons joke.
It was where you had to dig this cube, and it had lots of layers like an onion, and people would tap away and dig at it, and then whoever reached the middle won a big prize.
Oh, you mean the box thing that
thing.
experiment thing that they did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, and the prize was that you could have your say in their next game or something.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good for them. Where's my money? That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Give me the money.
God. But there was that other space game that got announced. I can't remember who said... God, I don't remember anything about it, so I don't know why I bring it up. But it's the one that's meant to be like randomly generated, and you actually can explore the planets.
Is it? Oh no, I'm thinking of a different one.
Oh.
Is it like Minecraft?
A little bit.
Because a friend linked me to this game that's like Minecraft in space, where you build your own space station and things.
It might be it, but it was the one where the studio got flooded recently. Or in the last few months. So it held it back. But it was made by like someone who had made a game before, but it wasn't a big game, so this was like really ambitious for them to do this.
Right. So it could go badly.
It could do, especially because they got flooded. But it did sound like a really cool idea, just having these different universes be randomly generated. So you have all these like pretty much infinite amount of planets that you can explore and do stuff on. Like
was it called? Sorry, go on.
No, it just sounded like the Planet Explorer for Mass Effect, but an actual full game and actually good.
Was it called Space Engineers?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, we're thinking about different games then. There's lots of space games apparently.
Damn, we don't know about space apparently.
Oh,
damn.
Even though we know less about the ocean or whatever that stupid fact that people say.
Yeah.
Space is more interesting than the ocean, so that's why. All right.
Well, we've definitely. Well, space is infinite and the ocean isn't, so screw you guys.
But we've only explored like 10% of the ocean, Tom.
What?
Or something like that.
But a percentage of infinity is like nowhere near infinity.
Listen, all your logic means nothing here.
Damn it.
People want to see the creepy fish that are at the bottom of the sea, alright? Not aliens. They want to see the creepy fish.
Right, so is that true? 10% of the ocean?
It's probably not 10, but it's not a lot.
So that means there could be some weird fish still out there. That does sound cool, actually. I'm all in.
Have you seen some of the pictures of the things down there?
Yeah.
They're ugly as hell.
They're freaks.
They should stay down there. We should stay up here.
Well, there's a reason why we base like aliens when we have aliens in like entertainment off fish. because they're horrible.
Yeah. Stay away from them. They're probably deadly poisonous as well.
So wait, so does that mean that you could go get a boat and some diving gear and check out a part of the ocean that no one else has ever seen before?
You'd probably die.
Yeah, but you would still die being cool.
You need that thing that James Cameron got to explore the trench. I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh, yeah.
But that trench thing, the deepest that we've ever gone. You need to get one of those, which probably costs billions of pounds, and then you can be cool.
Damn. So I guess that 10% is the top 10% of the layer of the ocean.
Yeah, like the oceans that go all the way to the miles and miles down, we haven't explored.
Yeah, because you can technically say we explored the top of the ocean if a boat ever went over the top of it.
Yeah.
Damn it, so I can't be a pioneer.
I'm the pioneer around here.
We can go drown if you want.
You can't be no Christopher Columbus or anything. Oh, it's all been explored, but you've got to go really deep down.
Oh, God. I can't even swim. That would be awful. I'll just drown.
Yeah, don't do that.
Instantly.
Unless you happen to be friends with James Cameron. Then just give him a call.
Yeah, he'll send me down there.
All right, Jimmy, yeah. Can I use your boat thing?
Jimbo!
Yeah. It's Jimmy, yeah.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, sure.
Kamei!
Have a great time. Down at the bottom of the sea.
Don't die or lose it.
So you break this very expensive thing. Don't do that.
There's no way they made profit off that film, right, that they made.
Did they make a film with it as well?
Yeah, don't you remember? It was released a bit after Avatar, like James Cameron presents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I doubt it. It's more scientific progression.
Damn that. We want entertainment.
Yeah, where's the sharks?
We want
and icebergs.
Pacific Rim with sharks. That's what we want.
And icebergs.
And icebergs. The Titanic.
The ghost of Titanic.
Oh.
Titanic 2. No, they really made that.
Yeah.
3.
I think we should move on to what's coming out.
I think so too.
It's only appropriate. So we got 2 games coming out, both winners. I'm going to say that right now. We got Trials Fusion. Have you ever played the Trials games?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Those Trials games make me so angry.
We're playing them.
Yeah, I just get so angry playing those games. I just furious. I just can't do it. That now I played it with a couple of friends a couple of times, and just both times I was like, no, I'm not playing this. I hate it. Just getting really annoyed. So now I just never play them. I just ban myself from it. Because there are some games where I get annoyed at, like Mario Kart, but I can still have good games and enjoy it ultimately. But that one, God, there's something about Trials that's just instant rage and anger. So I won't be buying Fusion, sadly.
I loved playing the first one of that. I loved it so much. I didn't go for that competitive must get the best time side. I went for let's build some crazy explosion tracks.
Ah.
I loved that kind of sandbox mode thing. It's so good.
So that sounds good.
Yeah. You could have all the timers and it would blow you up and then it would send you across the map. Oh, amazing.
And people did do amazing things with those that map creator.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I never played them. Just screw that. I'm not doing that.
You missed out on a lot of explosions.
I'm sure I did, but I don't care. But so yeah, new one of that. And then very good news. EA Sports 2014 FIFA World Cup is coming out next week.
Oh,
so you have to go get that. I'm sure you already got it pre-ordered, but I'm just making sure.
Has it really been 4 years? I remember the World Cup game before. I remember the World Cup. Wow.
Yeah, I remember how we lost. It was embarrassing.
I forgot that.
Well, it was against Germany.
Oh, that's right.
The goal, we scored a goal.
Was goal.
Wasn't counted though, even though in the replay it clearly went. That was upsetting.
Yeah, do you do fantasy football?
What's that?
The where you pick your own team thing?
Oh no, no. We already have a team.
I do because all my friends do, and I do it for fun. So I love the World Cup because that's when I pick the funniest names of the footballers, and that becomes my team. So I can't wait for this World Cup.
Oh, good.
I can wait for the game, however.
Well, I can't wait for the World Cup because I love the World Cup. I don't watch Premier League because I don't care if Arsenal does well. But it's good to see England lose every year at the World Cup. Go to the pub, have a couple of drinks. It's a good time.
If we're getting into football talk now, then I just got to say, Hull, my team, represent
Holborn and
into the FA Cup final against Arsenal.
Way.
Woo.
Can they...
Ever since I started supporting Hull, they've just gone up and up and up. And then down, then up and up.
Mostly up.
Yeah, mostly up. It's great.
God. But no, so there is something about seeing a World Cup game get released, though, because when I was a kid, I had an N64, and I had World Cup 98 on the thing, and I loved that game. Like, I loved it. I played it so much. I really enjoyed it. So whenever I see these World Cup games, I'm always tempted, but I never buy them, because I know it won't be the same. Like, nowhere near the same. But World Cup 98 was awesome, and I did love that
Let's
game.
play.
Oh, God, no. Jesus.
Let's play, now.
Oh, I would have to...
That's what it is, isn't it? That's what you're doing. Let's play
I would have
right
to
now.
buy an N64, and then the game, and then that would be it, actually. But I'm not doing it.
No. This one. The new one.
Oh, the new
Let's play.
one. Jesus, I would have to buy the game.
You could do the card opening pack things as well. They're very popular
God,
videos.
those are embarrassing. Who
Yeah,
cares? Who cares?
It's a card, though.
It's not
great.
interesting, though. I remember once,
No, it's
like,
not.
having some nostalgia for Pokemon cards, like, a couple of years ago. So I just, like, looked at some videos of Pokemon cards. And even though I was really in the mood to, like, see them and check them out, I was just like, this is awful. So I got a Spearow, an energy, potion, another Spearow, an energy. Just like, oh God, what am I doing? This is the worst. Who would watch this? Me, apparently, but that's just opening packs of cards. God, how low can you get? We talked about being sad and eating alone at McDonald's, but I think that's worse.
Opening card packs for YouTube videos.
Yeah, well, not doing it. Like, if somebody does it, then good for them. People are dumb enough to watch it. But
right, watching it, I see.
Watching it is awful. Because it's exciting for you, because they're your cards. But I can't be happy for someone else having a specific card. It's nonsense.
And yet they are always like on the most viewed things for gaming.
Yeah, I always see that.
What, YouTube? What's going on?
Well, it's the most depressing thing. What's popular this or today in the United Kingdom in gaming? Then you've got FIFA, Call of Duty, PewDiePie,
Yogscast.
yeah, Yogscast, Smush, and that's it. That's always it.
It's always popular.
You never see Let's Play Spider-Man Web of Shadows up there for some reason.
Why not? Even though your channel has many official videos.
That's right.
Not there.
I've done so much and I get so little.
Well, we keep on trucking.
Okay, so films. There's one film coming out next week, and that's The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
No,
which I really want to go see. Like, it
I can
hasn't,
imagine.
yeah, it hasn't got that good reviews, but then the first one didn't really get that good reviews either. So screw the critics. With superhero films, they're really harsh. Like Captain America 2, everyone praised it and stuff, and it got 70 on Metacritic. They never like to give big scores to the superhero one, so I kind of ignore the critics if they ever say, Spider-Man 2 is not amazing. So I'm going to go see it anyway.
The first Spider-Man film with the new reboot one wasn't that good though, was it?
Did you see it?
I did see it, yeah.
I really liked it. I liked
the beginning.
Yeah, it fell apart towards the end. Once Dr. Connors fully turned into the lizard, then it got, like, the action wasn't that good, and then it just, like, who cares, and then... See, that, and then the crane bit. But everything up to that point was really good.
I agree. Didn't like the ending.
Yeah, the ending was a bit weak.
Loved Uncle Ben.
Yeah, man.
Loved him. I love Martin Sheen. Loved Aunt May. I love Sally Fields. Oh, so good.
And then you got the Emma Stone, the Andrew Garfield.
And it was directed by Mark Webb.
God damn it.
That's what is going on there. That's some creepy stuff. Illuminati.
That's right. It's like
Really?
Christopher Nolan's real name is Christopher Wing. Don't you know?
Really?
That's absolutely true, and I'll stand by it in a court of law.
See, he changed it so that people wouldn't think he's in the Illuminati.
Yeah. We all know he is.
We all know he is.
Very obvious.
Now it's going to be Christopher Space.
Wow. We're really pushing the boat out there with that one.
Christopher Wormholes or something.
Yeah, there we
whatever
go.
Interstellar's going to be
That's fine.
about. There you go.
Christopher Black Hole.
Black hole. That'll do. That.
Perfect.
Great.
Well, on that stellar note, I think we should
Oh.
end off.
Very, very, yeah. Okay.
So any
That's quite good.
it was great. It was killer.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts or feelings?
No.
Damn.
There was one actually, but I forgot what it was now. We started talking about Spider-Man. So it's gone. What was the game? Oh yeah, it was World Cup. No, it wasn't that. It's gone. It's gone.
Okay, so what's going on your channel this week?
Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Minecraft Ultra Hardcore. That's it.
Ah, well, quite a lot. I mean,
And there will be. I'll probably try and get one of the live stream highlights video out as well. That's pretty good.
oh.
Yeah.
See, I was there for that live stream, but I didn't talk much. I was tired.
It's fine. Oh, I remembered what I wanted to say.
Way.
It was because it was mentioned in the chat. I think by your brother. They are doing Simpsons Lego blind bags.
Like what?
Do you remember last podcast? I was saying that they should have the little Lego figures in the little blind bags.
Yeah, those, yeah.
They're doing them.
Oh.
They're actually going to do that. So I'm going to get some if I see them.
That's
I'm going to
awesome.
be a saddo 21-year-old buying
Yeah.
Lego. I'm going to get them. That's great. I'm so happy. But yeah,
Well, you
that's what I
have
wanted to say.
to. Like, you have to.
I have to.
There's no way.
Yeah. So that was my final thoughts right there. Yeah.
And
Great.
on my channel, Diddly Squit will be coming.
Diddly squid.
Yeah, absolutely nothing will be uploaded next week. So look forward to that.
Diddly squits.
Yeah.
It's great. That's a great phrase.
I mean, if it didn't have squit in there, it'd be a bit better. But that's okay.
Oh. It's just okay. Yeah, squits. All right. Diddly squit's great. Don't you be bashing it.
I'm not, just the word squit.
Is that how we're going to end on the word squit?
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the podcast.
Yes,
Squit.
Squit.
Lovely. But they'll be back soon.
Yeah. I'll be in a couple of weeks. Give me another
With
couple of
brand
weeks.
new Let's Plays.
Yeah, 2 new ones. They're both pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
I don't know what they are, so
yeah.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, that's right. You can't just say they will be good and stand by it. You have to be, oh, technically I can say. They might be good, they might be awful.
Who knows?
Damn,
Find
no.
out soon.
Whatever. I don't care. Who cares?
Squit.
Squit. Well, well, thank you for joining me this week, as always, Mr. McLuckable.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Squit.
God damn.